What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Hey, we're doing a new thing now. What we're going to do is we're going to have Supersonic Origins. And we're going to conduct some interviews with some guests in here. We're going to have them on, and we're going to track their life through music. How has music influenced their life and influenced the way they are? What's the soundtrack to their life? I guess is what we're going to go with. And the first subject will be yours truly, myself. And who better to interview me than my partner in crime, the guru, T.W. Blanken. Hey, come on in here, T.W. Hell yeah.
Guess what, guys? Oh, there we go. I'm going to fade the music. That was awesome, wasn't it? Hey, I'm not going to be all hopped up on this show because I'm not smoking no special cigarettes today. They're just regulars. But here we go. The first thing, the way we're going to do this is Joe's show, though. This is going to be incredible. Right now.
Get a chance for you guys to get to know us a little bit, I guess.
Can I get a regular cigarette?
I mean, yeah, that's what they're there for here, man. I got a light. There you go.
All right, now.
This may take a while.
Here's the way we're going to do this. We're going to get to the bottom of what makes him tick musically. Because I'm interested in it. So here we go. First, tell us where Mr. Joseph Ney hails from. What city?
I come from a town called Lancaster, Ohio. It's about 30 miles southeast of the capital city, Columbus, in the state of Ohio in the United States. For those of you who are not and are familiar with the United States, it's a small town. It's kind of cool. Geographically, the state has sections of the state of Ohio are really flat. It's like flat, and then the southern and southeastern part is really hilly. It's where it's like the foothills of the Alleghenies, I guess. Or
what major city is it close to?
Columbus. Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. So it's situated right in between. So it has some flat areas, some hilly areas where it just starts to get hilly. Lancaster. When I grew up in that town, there was a population of about 2,500 people. So it's like it's a small town, but it's not a tiny, it's not a village.
You guys picked up a lot of the Columbus stations and stuff.
Yeah, our music was Columbus. That's the music we got. We didn't get any other cities stations. It's not like here where you can get Dayton and Columbus.
Yeah, well, a lot of the smaller cities over that way, the farther south they went, they couldn't hardly pick them.
Yeah, because it's so hilly. Yeah. So I was right on the edge of that. There's actually a radio station in my hometown called WHOK.
Really?
Yeah, and just a little side note. When my uncle was just graduated from high school. He's like 19. He got all drunk, and he fucking wrecked his car into the fucking radio station and took it out. It's the only time it was shut down for like a day or two. Cause he fucked
in that town that happened.
Yeah, in my hometown.
That was probably legendary.
Yeah, I think it's legendary. Yeah, he got all fucked up and wrecked his car into the radio station and knocked it off the air.
That's great.
See, we wreak havoc.
So
me and my people.
This kind of the next question.
General William Tecumseh Sherman's from my hometown. Did you know?
Who is?
General William Tecumseh Sherman. Sorry, people from Georgia.
I don't know who. What?
During the Civil War, General Sherman burned.
I can't get mad at him on his own show.
He burned a path from 6 miles wide halfway across the state of Georgia. He broke their financial back and essentially won the war from the Union. Yeah, he's from my hometown.
I did not know that.
Well, I went to General Sherman Junior High School.
He's also knowledgeable in history.
Yeah, the current flag, 50-star flag, was designed by a high school student from my hometown. Went to the high school that I graduated from. He won a contest in 1950.
One of the stars was designed by him?
No, the 50-star flag. It used to not be. In the 50s, we acquired Hawaii and Alaska, and there was only 48 states until then.
Okay.
In the 1950s, and then they had a contest for the flag, and he,
Yeah, I guess.
I can't remember the guy's name.
As they acquired the states, they had to make different flags, didn't they?
Yeah.
I never thought. I mean, I knew they had the 13 star.
Yeah, you remember like the with the circle and whatnot, Betsy Ross deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this question, the next question, kind of almost goes into the radio stations. It could go in a lot of different areas, but how did that town and the environment of that town shape your musical taste?
I'm not so sure that the town itself did. The radio station was a country radio station, so there was a lot. When I was really young, in the I was born in 1975, so by
Old.
yeah, I'm an old fucker. So by 1980, I was like 5, 6 years old. Okay, so that was kind of what I was really aware of music then. When I was younger than that, like it's hard for me to remember. I do remember hearing some stuff here and there.
Yeah.
But like as far as like radio play, 1980 on, and it was usually like the pop stuff I'd be listening to. So that was a country music
Now let
station.
me
So
ask
play
you,
a lot of
Bob,
country.
with the radio stations, there did it like down southern Ohio, which is the places that I go, Chillicothe area. They weren't up to speed because they didn't have the antenna power to get out. Now they do. They got pop and all that. So it's changed their environment. That's what I mean. It's changed the way that the kids are down there and everything. Because before 10 years, it's been about 15, 20 years, you didn't have none of the hip hop or the pop or anything. They was all country, hillbilly looking kids and stuff. Now they're all, they're up to speed with the rest of the world.
Right.
So I was wondering if that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think back to then, country music was really popular back then. You know what I mean? With Conway Twitty and all that. There was actually a giant bar. It was like a country western bar called the Charlie Horse, and I think there's been other. It's like almost a franchise. The thing was huge. And it was a concert venue.
Yeah.
So they would have like Boxcar Willie. I think Willie Nelson played there.
And that was in Lancaster?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Even today, I'll tell you what. There is a thriving local music scene in the town that I'm from in Lancaster.
Really?
Oh, there's a bar there that has a concert venue that plays. There's so many people that grew up with playing music.
Me and him have a little acoustic thing. How's come you ain't never tried to get us no gigs there?
Yeah, I'm just not there, but I could go down there and try and get something.
Really? Do they still know you there?
Well, I don't know. It's the people who own that bar.
If they don't, they're going to.
New people have owned it, but I could get us.
Celebrity.
I could get us down there and play him, but it's an hour and a half drive.
Yeah.
That's a long way to travel for.
Seriously, if you could,
I could probably book us some gigs down there for real.
I'd play there.
Yeah,
I like playing them smaller places like that. They seem to. I don't know why it is. They seem to appreciate music.
Dude, there's a big
live music.
A big local music scene down there. A lot of people played. Yeah, I mean, just a lot. One of the things, like when I was a teenager growing up, we'd just hang out. I'd go to a friend's house and hang out, and have our little private house party and play music and sing songs. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know. The Beatles is one of. If you guys ever watch T&J Rock and Talk, that's Rock and Metal Talk. That's where that's our main show. If you ever watch that, you'll know that Joe Nay's a big, huge Beatles fan, which people from, a lot of older people are, a lot of younger people aren't. So, did you get that from your parents? That's the third question. What did your parents listen to?
Well, so when I was really young, okay, so we'll say like in the early 80s, okay, I had some different influences. So my mom was more like a pop music.
You don't mind if I get comfortable?
Please do so. So my mom was more like a pop music person. So she had my mom, yeah. So she liked the Beatles and there was also it was called classic rock. So it played like early '60s, late '50s stuff.
Yeah.
Another radio station that we got there that was local.
Was your mama Betty? Did she wear the '60s skirts and all that?
When she was younger, yeah. I mean, yeah. But my dad, he liked the underground stuff, so he was listening to like Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Uriah Heep, Rare Earth.
That's where you get that.
Yeah, my dad was more like he liked that type. Jay Winters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Or Edgar Winters. He liked Edgar.
Well, that's the guy that does the Frankenstein.
Yeah, the albino. The albino dude.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So he listened to stuff like that, and a lot of other bands that came out. Three Dog Night. Then there was some other, I went through his record collection, some stuff that I had never even, some real underground stuff that I've never even heard of, like Rare Earth. It was a cool the sleeve. The album sleeve was a backpack, like an army backpack from Vietnam. It was all green, and you lift it up and then pull the record out.
Well, see that answers my question of. That's one of the things I like about Joe Nay. He doesn't stray away from pop music. He'll admit that he likes it. A lot of people won't, even though they do. But he also is into a lot of underground stuff. So I kind of understand that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, look, if it's good, it's good. And if it's pleasurable to listen to it, listen to it. You know what I mean? I listen to Beethoven and Mozart. I listen to jazz. I like, like Duke Ellington, you know what I mean? Or Miles Davis.
I know Miles Davis.
Coltrane.
People do. I don't think I've heard of Duke. What is
Duke
that,
Ellington.
jazz? Is it jazz?
Yeah, he's a jazz musician from the 60s. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. There was on one of the radio stations. It's actually an independent radio station out of Columbus. It used to be CD 101, now it's CD 102.5. Well, anyways, they used to on Sunday nights have. There was this guy that used to be on CBS that did he did B movies. He's called Fritz the Night Owl. I think it was mainly broadcast out of Columbus.
Jack type guy.
Well, this guy actually, he was a disc jockey. Then he did he was on TV showing B flicks like Attack of the Killer Moths or something, where these giant moths come. You know what I mean? Stupid shit like that, right? So then he had this jazz show on Sunday nights from 8 to 11, and it was just all jazz. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and he called it the Fritz the Night Owl was the name of the guy. It was, and like I said, it was on the radio, and he called it the Megaplex and Pleasure Dome.
Well, that answers a lot of questions. Joe's large, your appreciation for all.
Well, I like music. You know, I mean, who doesn't? So, I guess when I was a little kid, back to your question. I'm sorry, I digress. But so I have an aunt that's only 3 years older than me, and she would bring over some records to listen to. Cause we had a little RCA stereo, like a little cabinet deal. It had the 8-track player, the receiver, and it also had a turntable.
Yes.
Okay, and it had a little they were like 2 8-inch towers. You know what I mean? Real small with a tweeter inside it.
This is your aunt's.
No, this was our personal stereo.
Okay.
One of the many that we had in our house.
That was going to be another one of my questions. I was going to ask you what kind of equipment, but
Well, we'll get to that. But my aunt would come over and she would bring stuff like Michael Jackson.
That's your family home. You're talking.
Yeah,
okay, I got you.
Like so, Mom and Dad would listen to their records on there, or listen to the radio.
Not a lot of bass though.
No. But then
she came later.
My aunt would come over and she would bring over like a Grease soundtrack record or
I love that.
Michael Jackson's Thriller. I remember her. You know, what I mean, really into that. And then Olivia Newton-John's stuff.
She was also on the Grease soundtrack.
Yes, but her solo work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wouldn't know that one, but. Olivia Newton-John, she was on.
Can you believe in that?
How influenced? So we got where you got your musical taste.
Well,
from.
yeah. Well, see, then also I would go to my grandparents and hang out, and then they would listen to stuff like Nat King Cole and Bing Crosby. They had like one of those big console stereos. You know what I mean? It looks like a coffee table almost. And you lift the lid up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was really nice. I think they still have it. But.
So how old was you when you started getting out with your friends without, under the watchful eye of your parents and listening to music with your friends? That was my next question. How influenced were you by your friends?
Non-family members?
Yeah, just hanging out with your friends.
Hanging out with my friends?
How influenced was you by their music?
I was a little bit older before that happened, honestly. I mean, I was probably 10, 11 years old maybe.
When I came in the picture, I lit it up.
But I hung out with some older kids, so they were like 3-4 years older than me, and we mainly would just play sports and stuff out in the neighborhood. But sometimes we'd hang out. So
what kind of stuff? Stuff on the radio?
Oh no! Well, I had this one friend. His name's Lou Vamus. He's a security guard now, but he was kind of ornery. He was my friend that I hung out with his older brother. Sometimes I'd hang out with Lou. He was cool enough to hang out with me, even though I was so much younger. And he would listen to that. He exposed me to like some Van Halen. He was really into that, and
can't go wrong there.
Like Public Enemy stuff.
Now see, that's pretty cool though, because Public Enemy, the Anthrax thing came later, but that's right there's a big variety.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lou was into that's when I started getting to listen to some more of the harder 80s glam stuff started coming into play for me. I got introduced it by Lou.
So far, we've got the grandparents. You got jazz influence, and the mom, the pop thing, and the dad, underground country kind of stuff. So, and then your friends, we got Van.
Yeah, but then on the side on the radio, sometimes I catch some blues. You know what I mean? And I really like that. And that was just kind of something I discovered on my own and went with. My family really wasn't into that, but I was. I really did. Listen to the blues. And as I got older, I've learned to appreciate it a lot more. I think. what it does for just music generally. It's just you can see blues influences throughout music everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Jazz and blues. Jazz and blues are the biggest ones for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really did a lot for rock and roll. Mainly, I would say blues more so than jazz, but jazz definitely has some stuff in there.
You know what? Jazz more for the attitudes and behaviors of rock stars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Them
Them jazz
on
guys.
The musical side.
Yeah. I would tend to agree with that.
But so what was your? This is a next question. What was your first serious album? We're not talking about Donald Duck, anything like that.
You know what?
Something you just put in and just jammed to.
Well, okay.
Maybe
so when I was
busy too,
right?
Whatever, you know.
Well, let's see here. Like when I was really young, like 6, 7, 8 years old, something like that, I had gotten a turntable for Christmas. It was like it had a blue case, and you like unbuckled the buckle and lifted up the lid, and there was the white turntable with the white arm, you know what I mean, and the adapter, right? Mm-hmm. So my mom had found some little 45s that she had. And
you kids probably don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, they're the little singles, you know what I mean, the little tiny records.
Yeah, you had the adapter.
Yeah, the adapter put in there, because it played it. You know, what I mean, it's slower, so it's a smaller diameter. You know what I mean?
People the kids nowadays think, what's
like,
an AA chip? Is that an AA chip?
Yeah, the fuck's a 45. Yeah. So, and then she had found some singles that she had, and they were Beatles singles, and that's when I got introduced to the Beatles. So I listened to Revolution, and Twist and Shout. And Please Please Me.
So
you know,
you was with the Standards with that, and then that's what turned you on to them. And then you went with the Beatles, and then you went and got all the rest of their.
Yeah, later on.
He knows
later on in my
about
life.
The Beatles. There's stuff still I haven't heard.
Yeah, like I've been since then. Beatles been in and out of my life. You know what I mean? I've listened to them here and there, and I'll put them up, and I'll come back.
I mean, he looks like John Lennon.
I wish I looked that cool. And then, like, also, one of the records that my dad had was Uma Guma by Pink Floyd. So it was, like, right after Piper of the Gates. I don't know if it's exactly that segment. No, well, there was tracks on there that Sid Barrett had written, but he did not. He didn't sing. I don't know if he played.
On the Piper.
Piper was the only one that was full on Sid Barrett.
Okay.
And then after that, but like Set the Control for the Hearts of the Sun. Yes, Gilmore is on it. Okay. Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun was like a Barrett composition that was on that record, but I don't believe he had anything to do with it. And if you've never heard it, it is out there. It's one of the most
what am I doing asking questions? I'm a trivia king.
Yeah, it's one of the most unique Pink Floyd records there is. I mean, and that's saying something because every Pink Floyd record is unique.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
There's one that I don't really get, the one that they just make the sound.
Yeah, they were just fucking off saying, let's see if we can make a record. What was that called?
It's no instruments. It's all organic sounds.
Yeah. That was experimental shit. Which you know,
rubber
I don't mind
bands,
that.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind that. If you can make music out of some crazy shit like that, hey man, I mean, you're an artist, I guess.
I guess if we got a totalitarian state where they said no more instruments, we would go talk to them and they'd tell us how to do it.
Well, that's the beauty about music. You can find music everywhere if you pay attention. You know what I mean? Just like the conversation we were talking about earlier with some guys that were, I can't remember who said they were living in England, and they would Black Sabbath, right? They got their percussion from listening to the Factories.
Oh yeah. That's the environment of the actual environment. You know, no radio stations. They would hear the Factories and
hear the music in it.
Yeah, they would hear that, and that's where the Bill Ward and Judas Priest drummer.
Yeah,
I forget his name. Travis.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would get that's where they got the heavy hand from. So.
Yeah, trying to mimic that, and then I've also heard I watched an interview with Sammy Davis one time, and he was talking about the way he tap dances. He would listen to the sounds of New York City.
Yeah.
And tap dance that music. You know what I mean?
That interview.
So you're hearing these. I mean. You hear music in anything. There's always music out there. So
well, a great example of that, when this train goes by, sometime I'll hear a rhythm and that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I live so close. I mean, I could. The train feels like it's going to knock down.
I think it's coming right in the bar.
Yes.
Right in here, right in the house, man. That's pretty cool.
So your first album was?
Well, I guess it would be the first full length album was actually not until after, much later. I was like 12, 13 years old. Someone had gotten me a little like boombox kind of thing, right? I got that my parents got it for me for Christmas, and then they gave me they gave me 2 cassette tapes, and one of them was the best of Jan and Dean.
I like that.
Jan and Dean was pretty cool.
Great
had a little
harmonies.
Little lady from Pasadena.
The kind of had the Everly Brothers
It's the
type
little
feel
old
to
lady
it,
from Pasadena.
They were,
Yeah.
Jan and Dean.
Yeah, and also it was like the greatest hits of the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it had some stuff off of Pet
Brian
Sounds,
Wilson,
which is
genius.
yeah, they had some stuff off of Pet Sounds, which was really cool. But also had like their their popular ones like Surfing USA or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's been a long time since I've heard it. But
So,
so that was
Janet
it.
Dean and the Beach Boys was kind
Yeah,
of...
those I got both of those at the same time for Christmas.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I like a lot of classic rock because I grew up on a lot of it. I would listen to that radio station I was talking about earlier that'd be broadcast in. I'd even set my alarm to it and listen to it before I'd go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I listened to a lot of like the older, early '60s British Invasion stuff. You rarely played anything past '65.
Okay, let me ask you this.
And Elvis.
We kind of got your rundown on your equipment at your family home.
Yeah.
When you get out of the house now, and you're maybe your first apartment or wherever you're at, what was you rocking to? What was you rocking to? What kind of
equipment
system?
was
Yeah,
I
what
having
kind
then?
of system? I know you probably had something good.
Oh, dude, I had this nice Kenwood cabinet
Is
system.
this the story you told me where the police
Yes,
came?
that thing was a beast, dude. I had like 12s, 8s, and then it's like some mid-range and tweets, and this big tower speakers. I had 2 of them. I had a 25 disc CD, or was it 50? 25 or 50 disc CD changer. I think it was like 25.
This was a disc?
Yeah. I graduated to CDs by now,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, big time, brother. And
I'm a little older than
Yeah.
him. I'm like, my first apartment, I think it was still records.
Oh, don't get me wrong, dude. When I was a little kid and I wanted
Eight-track.
to keep a song, I had at one point I had just a tape recorder. You know what I mean? It wasn't even a proper stereo before I got in the one. You know what I mean? And I would have to listen, hurry up, wait for it to come on the radio, hurry up, and press record with my cassette tape in there to catch the song. You know what I mean? And make compilations that way, and then hit pause and stop. You know what I mean?
we talked about that with kids and bands.
Yeah, there was no
today.
YouTube then, kids. There was no Napster, none of that bullshit. You had to, you either had the thing, or if I could borrow someone's tape or record and then play it on the fucking stereo and use my tape recorder to record it to get
band
what I wanted.
practice. You say, let's learn this song, and you get home
fuck.
and you have to wait a week to hear the song. And you might stub your toe going over to record it and only get
pieces
missed
of it,
so
yeah.
much, and you gotta wait for another couple days to get the first part.
Yeah, that you missed.
But did you have a tape deck with the disc changer too? Because a lot of them would.
Yes, I did.
Do you remember the name? Was it Pioneer?
It was a Kenwood. It was a Kenwood system.
Yeah, he said that.
It was
Those
nice,
were
dude.
bad.
Yeah,
Those
I got
were
it.
bad.
I got it to rent, and I paid a lot for it, for even like rent to own. Even back then, you know what I mean? It was a lot of money.
So tell the viewers the story you was telling me about the.
Okay, so so I was having a party for New Year's Eve, and I had quite a few people over to my apartment. So I lived in like a duplex in my hometown. So I had that on. I had some people over, and I was in my early 20s, so we were just having a good old.
Was this with
time.
your first the girlfriend? Was she living there with you?
No, I was single. No,
so
wait.
you was rocking out with no
Wait,
authorities.
I don't remember if I had a girlfriend then or not.
So
But
you didn't have nobody telling you where the volume could be.
The kind of girls I date
There
don't.
you go.
The kind of girls I date don't care if
They
music's
don't care
loud.
anyway.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
down. They're
okay.
down with it. Sometimes they're.
I'm
the
just trying to
corruptors.
get a mental a picture.
So I got this on, and it's got like the door's like a wooden door. It's nothing spectacular. I think it was an interior door that the landlord had just thrown up there because it was a shitty apartment I was renting off a slumlord. But anyway, so we have some things going on in the apartment that the cops would not be real appreciative about going on.
And this is in Lancaster.
And this is in Lancaster, yeah. So I got the system cranked up. I don't know what the hell. I think I was listening to I think I was listening to Limp Bizkit at the time. So I had some Limp Bizkit cranked up. I mean, I had this thing jamming to where you were screaming at anybody. You couldn't. First of all, you couldn't be in the same room that the stereo was in. We had to be at the other end of the apartment, and then we still had to yell at each other.
Nookie or fuck song?
I couldn't remember the exact song, but it was off of the hot dog, chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water CD was on there. It may have been the I don't know what it was, but then so I see my door moving, like vibrating, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
That way you knew they were there.
Yeah, I couldn't hear them knocking. I saw my door moving.
That's great.
So I go and I open the door and I step outside because I didn't want them to come in because I didn't want them to see what was going on in there. And then they were like, Joe, do you have?
Oh, they knew you by name already.
Well, yeah, they were like, do you have a mental problem? Because I was like, no, what's going on? And they're like, we can hear your stereo in our car a block and a half away, man. You need to turn it down.
They didn't even get a complaint. They was the complainers.
They heard it when they were coming by. They were like, holy shit. So,
they were the complainers.
Yeah, that stereo. Awesome. I had it cranked, dude. That thing was badass. Awesome. And you know what? I pushed it that hard, and those speakers took it. You know what I mean? They didn't. Yeah. I didn't blow shit.
Yeah. So with your receiver, you also had the Kenwood speakers.
Everything was Kenwood. The cabinet, the speakers, the receiver, the disc changer, everything. Had like the glass door on the front. You know what I mean?
Them things, they was rocking.
Oh, dude. You know what? They just don't make them like that anymore.
No,
you cannot find a stereo like that unless you're gonna like do something crazy with Bose and whatnot. But you can't find nothing like that anymore.
Well, me and him both have what is a card. What's the name brand of them Bluetooth speakers we have now?
Cardon.
Harmony Cardon.
Yeah, Harmony Cardon. Yeah.
And then Onyx Studio. They're right up there with Bose.
They're really nice.
Yeah, if you do the reviews on them, they're like right under Bose.
Yeah, well, they're like $300-$400 new. You know, I mean, they're expensive speakers, and they're really nice. But what kind of? But they for the money. Oh fuck, dude, those things not even close. Not even close. Like those by times 5 or 10.
I miss those times.
I do too. That's when stereos could get you in trouble. And you just can't find a stereo that you can get arrested over these days.
Yeah, I miss it. Well, in the you kind of hear a difference in quality too over stuff.
Yeah.
You kind of lose a little bit of something on the Bluetooth, just a little.
A little bit. You know what I mean? When you digitize the music, and that's why I still today. I don't have a turntable, but I need to get one because I like listening to vinyl. I like the scratchiness, and there's some richness to it that you don't get on like the digital music or even CDs, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It does have a different sound.
Yeah, it does. I like it. I like the rawness of it. I really do.
Okay, we got that out of the way. We know he was rocking with his Kenwood.
Yeah, yep. And that was pretty much the last awesome stereo I ever had.
This next question here, let me explain to you viewers that we're going to use the word nostalgia here. If nobody knows what that means. It's like if you hear a song and it takes you back to a certain place and a time and I don't know, favorite time in your life or something. So nostalgia. What would you say your song maybe or band was your favorite nostalgia?
I'll tell you what really brings me back, and then I always, every time I hear it, I really love it, is so we also at one point had one of those console stereo record player things, you know what I mean? It was like as big as a coffee table or whatever, maybe a little bit bigger, that you'd open up the lid, you know what I mean? And,
you know what I
mean? And it had a ground part. So it had the metal pole that would stick up, right? Because you could like put one and play it, then you could have a record on deck with a little clip, and when it was over, the arm would move, and it would drop it down, and then the arm would come back over automatically and start playing the next record, right?
Have you seen the modern day ones?
I haven't.
The CD thing.
No, I haven't.
Yes, they're nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we had one of those, except this one was a little bit beat up. It wasn't as nice as my grandparents. And it would had a short in it, so you had to be careful. If you put your arm over top of the metal rod that you put the records down over, electricity would shoot out of it and zap you. Yeah, I got about electrocuted myself one time.
Awesome.
I put my arm over it and the blue
high voltage there.
Oh, it lit me up.
Some AC/DC in there.
It lit me up for real. So anyways, so on that, we had that for a long time. We would always listen to, like, around Christmas time, we would have, like, the Christmas tree up. And we'd be decorating the tree, or maybe we'd get ready. We'd listen to music while we were having dinner or something during the Christmas season.
Good times, wasn't it?
And we would listen to John Denver's Rocky Mountain Christmas. So that has a lot of nostalgia. It really brings it back. Yeah, I love that because I can almost, when I hear some of the songs off there, I can almost smell the pine from the Christmas tree, and I remember it just makes me remember what it was like. It was a real happy time back then when I was just a little kid. You know what I mean? Like. Somewhere in between.
That's ultimate nostalgic when you can smell it and you just,
Yeah, and then we listened to that all the time from at my parents' house from the time I was like 5, 6 years old to, I don't know, 10, 12. And also Elvis Presley's Christmas record.
Yeah,
okay?
that's one that was in our
yeah, and then when the RCA stuff, my mom was an Elvis fan, so we had a lot of the RCA stuff. And she listened to like the Temptations and the Tops, Patty Duke. Freddie and the Dreamers.
Patty Duke.
Yeah, she was a Patty Duke.
Dog really makes her lose control. Music is a true time machine.
It is. It really is. Yeah. Yeah, because it can take me. And then, like, we go to my grandparents' house on Christmas Eve and celebrate Christmas Eve with my one set of my grandparents. Because the other grandparents, we go Christmas Day, the one we go Christmas Eve. So the ones we get Christmas Eve, they also had the console stereo. See, we'd go over there, and then we'd be listening to Bing Crosby's Christmas stuff and Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas record. You know what I mean? Always had so that those type of stuff that always has, it's real nostalgic for me. You know, when I listen to that, it just brings me back to that time, and it was a good time in my life, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Joe. I think that you're gonna have a pretty successful show here. I love the name. What was the name?
Supersonic Origins. Supersonic Origins is the name.
Joe
What we're gonna go with.
Is there anything else we got going on? We got the T&J Entertainment thing. Is there anything else we got going on?
Well, I'll tell you
before I
what,
ask your last question.
Was there something we need to look for just on the regular T&J Rock and Metal Talk? We're going to start conducting interviews with local talent, trying to bring some of that to you, see what's going on this part of the country.
Yes.
You know what? Check out our website and email us or something if you got some other. How can we do that? We'll work on finding a way for you guys to share some of your stuff with us somehow. We'll figure that out. I just kind of thought of that right now. So we'll figure something out. We'll just get back to you on that. But anyways, as soon as we get our equipment together,
meeting with the
we got. So as soon as we get our equipment together, we'll be looking for another episode of TJ Rock and Metal Talk to be coming at you real soon. We can't wait to get back to that.
You're doing a good job here. He's gonna bring some local talent in on this one too.
Oh yeah,
I think we got a girl coming up. I don't really know her name. I know her name, but I don't want to say it right now because I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
She's not fully booked anyway.
And we might actually have live performances on this show and the T&J Rock and Metal Talk.
So we.
Last question here.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
And I don't want to hear no lying. Let's hear the truth. What was guilty pleasures?
I'll tell you what.
I like this question.
I'll tell you what. One of the guilty pleasures, like if I would have gotten made fun of for sure if my friends knew. And so I didn't exactly I didn't exactly lie because they never asked. They never asked. They just made fun of it, and I didn't defend. But I didn't, you know what I mean? I just kept my mouth shut when they be talking about it. Michael Jackson and Olivia Newton-John, that stuff that my aunt turned me on to. I still listen to it today, even. Yeah. That would be it, dude. That's my
Michael Jackson and Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
I have to say,
I'll tell you what, I love the song Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. It just gets in my head all the time, man. I love that fucking song.
Yeah. I'm going to save mine because I think we got to. But no, but the last thing I want to do here, because this is the way he's got this, he give me the lowdown. I think it's a great idea. So at this point in your life here, the nostalgic part, but we was up to your apartment days. Because we're going to give a whole rundown on his, pretty much your life.
Right.
And so what, your first apartment, when you're Kenwood, when you're up there rocking with the Kenwood, how old would you say?
Oh, well, that wasn't my first apartment, but I was, when that particular thing happened, I was around 25 years old.
Around 25?
Yeah, I was a little bit older by then.
So what did you have in your first apartment? Just a little boom box?
Yeah, a little boom box, I think, or maybe even a clock radio.
So
it was pretty.
You must have had a pretty good job to get the Kenwood.
Well, look, there has never been a point in my life where I've not had access to something to listen to music to. Never.
Gotcha.
In my entire life.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
It's what makes you breathe.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, there's some things that in the teenage years that we should probably touched on that I found was sort of influential in certainly in my musical sensibilities.
We could do on the next one. That's just an idea. We could put in nostalgic teenage song on the next one and let it take us back to that.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Rewind.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, flashback.
But I don't know. So is this how you end your show, or you get up and do a dance?
No, this is pretty much it. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you tune in again. I really hope that you were entertained, because that is our point. Yeah, I was too. You know what? Fuck you guys. I had a good time. All right, hey, thanks, TW. I really appreciate you stepping up, man.
No problem.
Okay, until next time, you guys. Take it easy.